with that, we arrive at yet another week, another edition of the Kyle McCord Show. He's Kyle McCord, Orange QB. I'm Brian Higgins. Glad to have you with us here. Again, you guys know the rules here of the Kyle McCord Show. It's your show. Get in there. Ask questions for the QB if you're in the chat on Twitch at QSportsTalk.com. If you are with us on our Q Sports Talk YouTube page, got both in front of my face right now. So get in the chat. Let us know what's on your mind, and we'll just try to rattle through as much as we can here, Kyle, over the course of the next half hour. And man, we were just talking on the way in. Tough one Saturday. What was that game like? Because it felt like, down, up, roller coaster. How'd you handle the emotions of that one Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, you got a little bit of everything. Slow start and then bounce back and put some points on the board, and then tried to finish strong. But I think they just made a few more plays than we did. That's kind of the reality of it. And, especially in this conference. And, I feel like every single game is close and it comes down to the wire. And, you go back and you watch the film in those tight games and it's, one play here, one play there. And you're looking at a completely different game. We've been on both sides of it this year where we've made those plays and then when we haven't. I think it's obviously tough to lose, but I think another, great opportunity this week.
Yeah, I mean, Fran said it yesterday. I guess it was yesterday that he was talking about, hey, you look at 2 fourth downs, right? The Stanford game and this game, and you guys are 8-1. And you say it the other way, right? Like, look, if LaQuinn Allen doesn't make that play at UNLV, that's a loss. That feels like it's fun to watch, I guess, but man, that's got to be nerve-wracking when it's coming down to single plays like that.
I mean, I think across college football this year, that's kind of been the case for a lot of games coming down to the wire, and then you look to the NFL, it's literally every single week.
Mm-hmm.
It's the end of game, 1 or 2 plays that determine a win and a loss, and sometimes that's how thin the margin of error is. And I think when you're in a game like that, it's tough because you feel like you play well enough to win, but obviously when that doesn't happen, you go back and you just try to find, where did we go wrong? And, it's not a good feeling. And, I mean, it's tough. Like, there's nothing good, I think, that comes out of a loss. I mean, obviously, you learn from the film and you grow from it, but, it's not fun losing.
It's been interesting to watch your head coach certainly go through this as well. Go figure. I mean, you have more games starting as a quarterback in college than he has at head coach. How have you noticed him kind of go through this year? Because it's a learning process, right, of trying to figure all this stuff out.
Yeah, I mean, I think he stepped into the role, and I think there are high expectations for him. And I think, as there should be. I think that, he demands that out of himself. And so when other people, demand high expectations out of him, it doesn't faze him at all. But just to see what he's done in his first 10, 11 months as head coach, to completely kind of change the narrative on the program and, right the ship a little bit. I mean, I think he deserves a lot of credit, and I don't know if he's getting all the credit as he should. And then I think, just to see some of the guys he brought in, obviously, and with this year on short notice, kind of getting some late high school players in that class and bringing them in, as well as the transfer portal, I think, says a lot. And then, I think he's going to continue this momentum. And, I said to the guys after the game, although losing, it's rough, and it's not fun, but, the group that we have right now could be the group, if we finish the season the way we should be the group that changes Syracuse football. And I know a lot of guys want to win for Coach Fran, and I do too. But, I think he's handled it well. It's, not easy coming into that role and being a first-time head coach and having to deal with all that, but I think he's handled it very well. And I think, he's going to be around for a while, and he's going to win a lot.
It felt to me, Kyle, like the goals of this season were almost like dual paths. Like you coming from Ohio State, Fran coming from Georgia. Fran said it yesterday. It's like, man, I am learning from losses. We didn't lose. He went through 2 seasons. They lost 1 football game during his time there as a head coach. Obviously, you guys didn't do it very often at Ohio State. And you talk about setting the foundation, like both at Ohio State and Georgia. The foundation's not just set, it's as sturdy as it can be. How different is that here? You came in with the idea of, hey, we want to make a push right at winning these games and conference title and all that. But also it's important to build a foundation. How important is that to you guys where, you'll be wherever in a year or 2 or 3 and you get to look back and say, hey, this is something that we helped start?
Yeah. I think that goes way beyond the wins and losses and, to be the group that started something special here, I think is going to be something that, I'm going to forever cherish. And I think that's why these last few games are so important is, I feel like if we can go out and win some of these games and, ultimately have, a few, not even a few, I think there's a bunch of guys from this year's team that can go on this year and go to the NFL and get drafted, like just to see that and know what it's going to do for this program, I think is going to be something that's really rewarding. And, no one wants to win more than I do. And I'm super competitive, and every single time we lose, I don't want to talk to anybody. Like, I just want to win. But, knowing that I was part of the group that, helped change the narrative around Syracuse football and, help springboard them into becoming what they once were, obviously, years ago, is something that is going to be super special for me.
All right, let's start getting it. Devin brings up an important question in the chat, and Fran said this yesterday in his press conference. I don't know if you heard this, Kyle. He said that after losses, he doesn't think he deserves like a shower. Like he didn't soap up until like yesterday morning. I assume you showered at some point after the game. Did Fran stink? I'm sure you've met with him at some point. What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, I think some people thought he was joking, but
I believed him 100%.
Yeah, no, he's a competitor, and I think when we don't win, it's just like all he can think about is just going back and like watching the film and just replaying it, like what he could have done differently, and I think he takes a lot of the blame, and I think that's rare. I mean, for a first year head coach, it would be so easy for him to point fingers and kind of dismiss it, but he takes it on the chin, and he's not even the one playing, and so I think that having a coach like that, like we see the losses wearing him, so we want to win for Coach Fran. But he's a competitor, and I think that obviously that comment kind of blew up a little bit, but it's the truth. But I showered.
Kyle showered. Thank you. You were playing. You were hopefully a little sweatier than he was on center. He did say, and I mean, hey, you meet with him personally a lot, so I'm sure you appreciate that. He said he still keeps like the toothbrushing and stuff going, so you're not getting like the dragon breath on you.
Yeah, no, that I think we appreciate that, everybody in the facility.
You don't, take it to a point here, but we're living in a society here. Like, let's keep everybody all right. All right, what else we got here in the chat? Roddy Richards wants to know, what are your routines with the time change this week? So you did UNLV. Yeah. That was a night game. This will be a noon Pacific game. Same plan, different plan? What's the plan this week?
Similar plan. Anytime you get on the West Coast, most teams, I know we do, we travel a day early, so we'll get out there Thursday. That's what we did for UNLV. We played them on Friday, and so we got out there on Wednesday, practiced right away, kind of got adjusted to everything, and then you're out there for a full day. And, I think a noon game there, so really we're playing at, 3 our time is easier than what we did at UNLV, because UNLV, when we went into overtime, it was like past midnight here, I'm pretty sure.
It was bad. Yeah, it was closing on 1 real quick.
Yeah. So I think the coaches do a good job of getting us ready. I know they got the travel and all that planned, and so now it kind of makes it easy for us just to get out there and focus on football and meetings and all that.
So you guys, today's Tuesday. You guys will be flying out Thursday, doing all that, then have a full day out there on Friday, and then game noon. You're obviously used to the noon, so that part of the routine, even though you're out west, has got to be pretty normal, right, to get up and get at them on Saturday. Yeah, no, definitely used to all the big noon games from last year, and then playing at noon a bunch this year. So it's an underrated time. You can get up, get after it, and then you can watch some of the night games too. The Penn State fans were a little annoyed about that a couple weeks ago, huh? I think all the Big Ten fans are. They're all, yeah. I mean, is it weird? Because I get that there's going to be noon games, right? Like there have to be games all day long. Is it weird when like the biggest game of the day is the nooner? I think
for a big game, like a top 10 matchup like that, I don't know. I think it should be at night, especially Penn State. I mean, like a Penn State whiteout at night, a top 10 matchup. I think that's hard to beat in like the atmosphere category. But yeah, I mean, every big game I feel like in the Big Ten is at noon. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
You're getting that noon Fox spot, and TV ratings, as we know, Kyle, they speak very loudly, and people are watching. I know that, but yeah, it's kind of weird when that is going off at noon. All right, what else do we got here in the chat? Dom in North Carolina wants to know this. His nephew is a high school freshman right now, and he plays fullback and middle linebacker, and aspires to be like he wants to play D1 college football. What do kids at that age need to do to get noticed? When you look at camp scenes, highlight tapes, whatever. What do you got to do when you're 14, 15?
Yeah, I think, camps are important. I think that's where you kind of start to build those relationships with the coaches. But I think the biggest thing, that they'll watch is the film. And I think with social media nowadays, especially for young kids, it's so easy to get caught up in the rankings and, who's getting offers from where and, how many stars am I on, whatever recruiting website. But I think the most important thing is the work and, making sure that you're getting bigger, stronger, faster, studying the game, and then just putting, good things on film. And I think obviously, like I said, you build those kind of personal relationships in camps with, the coaches, but ultimately, when they go to recruit you, they're going to turn on the film. And, I know Syracuse has like 4, 5, 6 guys that all work in recruiting. So if you're good enough, they'll find you for sure. But, I think the most important thing is not getting caught up in all like the social media stuff and just, worrying about the work, the stuff that matters.
How important are those camps, like those June camps, getting invited or going to those or, getting on that scene?
Yeah, they are. They definitely are. I mean, some of them are like the college camps I think are good, getting in front of, coaches who obviously, their opinions matter, and making a good first impression on them. And then, some of those like Nike regional camps, they're cool to do. But, I think the college camps are the most important, just allowing the coaches to see, for me, like, how I threw the ball, how I moved, how I, just handle myself, how I talk, all that. I think, that's important. And I think that it's an underrated part of the recruiting process, is just how you interact with the coaches.
And I guess too, right? Like you were at the, upper echelon of the recruiting process. You're going to the elite camps and whatever. Obviously, there's all these different levels of camps. How have you noticed? And I imagine you as a player can tell when, sometimes coaches are there. Yeah, they're running the camp, but they're really only paying attention to one guy, right?
Yeah.
Or how often are coaches really grinding with the other kids to give them a chance to pop?
I mean, I've been at camps where like they give you like different colored jerseys, and it's like the coaches are only watching one group of those kids. I can tell you, Coach Fran does not do that. I've been to a few of the camps he has here, and he's running from drill to drill, yelling at the kids. Like he has no filter. But yeah, I mean, it definitely some of those camps I've been at, like you can tell, like the coaches are only watching a handful of kids, and it is what it is. I mean, college recruiting, like you got to get it how you get it. But I do think those camps are important.
Yeah, it's a wild world out there with that stuff. But yeah, no, I've heard stories of Fran at his camp. He is out there. He is coaching it up. All right, what else do we have here? Roddy wants to know this. How often are you texting with your guy Marvin Harrison? He scored a touchdown this weekend, didn't he? Yeah, he got a touchdown.
I talked to him yesterday. I sent him it was like a old video that popped up on my phone. We were in a meeting, and we were in a meeting. It was on Zoom. It was my senior year of high school during COVID, and so we had to do everything kind of like virtual. It was like you come, you practice together, you play, and then you have to go do everything virtual. So all the meetings we did were virtual, and I knew I was going to get ripped in film, so I set my phone up and I recorded what the coach had to say, and it was like a RPO, and Marvin was getting double teamed. And I think I just threw him like a fade, and it ended up getting picked off. And I sent it to him. The coach was ripping both of us. But it was funny. But I mean, he's killing it. He's killing it now, and I think he's starting to hit his stride. He's doing well.
They're going to make the playoffs, aren't they? I mean, they're in good position right now. Are they leading the division? I think they might be.
Yeah, I think they're 6-4.
Yeah. There we go. Kyler Murray, that's a different kind of player, right? Like the way he plays. Yeah. That's not one you can really model your game after, right?
Yeah. No, I mean,
his legs look like he's in fast forward all the time.
I don't know how he sees over the line sometimes. Like that's impressive. I mean, watching him play. I mean, I'm 6'3", and sometimes you lose guys behind the line, but being 5'10", whatever he is, I mean, he's really good from the pocket. Obviously, good from outside the pocket. He's having a good year too.
Get your questions in the chat. Got eyes on both our Twitch stream and YouTube stream at Q Sports Talk to get our questions to Kyle. We got him till roundabouts 11:30 today, getting you ready for Cuse and Cal this upcoming weekend. Devin wants to know this. Have you ever met Pat McAfee? Was he there? Did you have a game day game last year or something where you might have crossed paths with him?
Yeah.
I feel you'd remember if you met Pat McAfee.
I mean, he was definitely there. I don't think I met him, though. I don't think I've ever met him. But no. Yeah, no, I haven't. Yeah.
Yeah, I've met him once, and my goodness.
Yeah.
It's all real.
Yeah.
he is that insane. He is totally nuts. When you see a guy like that, though, I mean, you've watched football for a long time. You watch these shows. Like the energy and youth, whatever you want to say to him, what do you think that's doing for the current attention being given to college football and all the zany stuff he's out there doing?
I mean, I think he's doing a great job. I mean, game day, obviously that kind of crew has been together forever, but to add him, I think he's done a great job.
Shot in the arm for it, right?
Yeah, he brought a lot of life to that crew, and he's fun to watch. He has no filter,
none,
which I think people appreciate. And I think like watching his show, like you never know, what path he's going to go down, whether he's going to talk about sports or like something out of left field. But I think he's probably one of the best, if not the best, sports media personalities out there right now.
Yeah, I don't think I've told you this before, Kyle. I know I've told the chat at some point. So this was, 6-7 years ago. There was one year Pat was doing the Thursday night games on ESPN. He was like their third guy in the booth. We get him on the pregame show. It's me and Adam Terry. So, Adam, he's 6'8" with a beard. Like, he's not a subtle human being. He's the largest man on the planet. So we get Pat on the show, but he walked in like we'd already started the segment. So we didn't have a chance to chit-chat before. They were teammates for a year on the Colts. So, like, they should... Pat did not realize who he was talking to for, like, 8 minutes. He's like, you look familiar. I was like, yeah, no crap, I look familiar.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
That's Pat, though. He's a crazy, crazy dude.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got? What do we got in the chat? What do we got going here? Global Pioneer just says, we appreciate all you guys have given to this point this year. I feel that's been a pretty common sentiment right this year with the Cuse fans for you guys, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely feel the support. I just feel like the energy is definitely picked up, and I think we still got more to give. Obviously, a big game this week going on the road, and then finishing the year out strong with 2 games in the Dome. So, I'm excited. Obviously, wish, we had, one or two of those games back, and, we're, 8-1, but, it's football, but, we definitely appreciate all the support and the love. We felt it all year long.
Break this league down for me. What's going on here? I mean, Miami absorbs a loss last week. I mean, heck, that Georgia Tech team, you know how dangerous they can be. You guys got them early in the season. SMU's the only undefeated team left. I don't know if you got to watch them much. Clemson lost a few weeks ago. Do you have any idea what's going on in this league right now?
No, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of good teams. Like, from top down, I think every single team is capable of beating each other. And, I mean, you have to bring it every single week. And, obviously the teams at the top have been playing well, but then, you see, like you say, Clemson losing, and then, Miami losing. And, there's just a lot of good teams, a lot of good talent across the board. But that's what you want. But, I mean, it is crazy, I think it's 17 teams, something like that.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of them all.
I mean, somebody's going to have probably one conference loss maybe, and not make the championship, or 2 losses and not even be in contention for the conference championship. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's opened up a little with Clemson and Miami having lost, but then everybody else has lost. So it's kind of hard to figure out. SMU is the only team that does not have a league loss right now. So they are, go figure, first year in the league. They got a chance to go win the whole thing and make the playoff here. It's wide open. A good point here from Showbro Michael about the loss this last week. You've lost 3 games. After the first 2, you won the next week. So that is a good sign. Why do you think that is? That some teams you'll lose a game and it just falls, the wheels come off. You guys, it seems to be the opposite. Yeah,
I think that we get back and just hungry, ready to play, want to right our wrongs, and I think it's always I think more I don't know the word. I think more just motivating, I guess, would be the right word, to get back on the field after you lose, knowing that you didn't put your best effort out there. And I know that guys were excited to get back and practice yesterday, and looking forward to going out west this week. And I think both times we've lost this season, I think we've regrouped and bounced back strong. So looking to do the same this week.
All right, Cal this week. Have you been to California before?
I have, yeah.
All right.
I have.
Just Rose Bowl? Were you in a Rose Bowl, or you just been out there?
I've been out there a few times. My quarterback coach is out there, so I go there a bunch.
Okay.
Went to the Rose Bowl. My uncle lives in San Francisco. So I've been out there a good amount.
All right, so an uncle in San Fran. This is almost like a home game for you now.
Yeah.
You got a little. How much family you got out there? Or just your uncle?
Just my uncle, but my dad's going to go out there and stay with him, and I think maybe few other family members. I'm not sure. Not a huge crowd. Like the Virginia Tech game, I think I had like 60, 70 people or something that came to that game. But I think Cal only be like 6 or 7.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good for being literally on the other side of the country. That's still pretty good. It's probably going to be close to the tops of the team, I'd imagine. We're pretty far away from. So I'm losing track. There's a few Cal guys on the team. Are there any Cal guys on the team right now?
Yeah, there's a handful. I'm
trying to remember. Is this Barry Buxton?
Barry Buxton from California.
I'm trying to remember who else we got.
Deion Wilson.
Oh, Tank, right?
Yeah, he's from California. A few other guys. Yeah, we got some Cali guys.
Okay. There's a decent. I'll be intrigued to see what kind of Syracuse fan base there is out there, because L.A., San Fran. There's a decent alumni contingent out there, so I'll be intrigued to see how that kind of stacks up this week. What have you seen on this Cal team on film? I mean, you look at a team, they forced a ton of turnovers so far this year for sure. I imagine as a quarterback, that's got to pop out to you immediately. Yeah, no, I think I know they have the leading interception cornerback in FBS right now. I think he has like 7 picks. And then they got D Lyman, who I think is top 10 in sacks. And they're a good team. They're a veteran group from top down. They got a lot of experience, a lot of talent too. I think their head coach has been there for 7 or 8 years, so not a new system for them. All the guys have been in that system since they've been there. So we're gonna have our hands full, and they've lost 4 games all by 1 possession. So we're gonna have to come ready to play. And then on top of that, they just put up a whole bunch of points against Wake Forest too. So both sides of the ball are going to have to come with their best stuff. Yeah, I think it's their 4 league losses are by 9 total points, something crazy like that, including late short missed field goals and turnovers and all sorts of crazy things late in games. You mentioned their corner that has all the interceptions. Like, you've dealt with the last few weeks like a D lineman that has a lot of sacks. Like, you kind of know the deal with that. Like, all right, let's make sure we have somebody over to block and whatever. When there's a corner like that, is that a stay away? Is that a be careful? Is that a just do your normal business? How do you handle a guy like that? I mean, he doesn't have all those interceptions by accident. So I think you definitely have to watch film and know his strengths and how he plays and what he does to cause those turnovers. And I think obviously you don't ever want to play scared, but you want to make good decisions with the ball and make sure that you're not putting it out in harm's way. And so I think our receivers they faced a lot of good DBs this year, and I think it's going to be more of the same this week, facing another good secondary and experienced secondary too. I think their starting 4 guys are all seniors. So like I said, I mean we're going to have to do a good job of with our scheme.
being crisp in the pass protection and in the routes and making sure that, we're focusing on the attention to detail.
Here's one from VP in our YouTube chat. Says, thanks for a fun season, and wants to know any early insight into NFL prep.
Yeah. I've been trying to, not think about all that too much, just been focusing on this season. But, I'll probably just go work with my quarterback coach. I know it's going to be a long process with, training and, getting ready and, all the different stuff, the combine and all that. But I'll figure that out when I get there. I'm, just been locked in on the season so far. And, we'll cross that bridge when it comes.
Is that different for quarterbacks and other guys too? Like, other positions they're working on their 40. Like, you're not getting drafted on your 40 time, right? Like, that's not what's going into the evaluation of a quarterback.
Yeah. Obviously, I've never gone through the process, but just talking to, some of the guys that I know in the NFL right now and about, what they went through with their process. And I think it's unique to each guy, kind of what they do. Obviously a lot of fundamentals and, training on, just, cutting like the little fat out of your game.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, I think, it's a lot of mental stuff too. Going back and, watching your film and being able to break down, each play and the offense and the read and everything that goes into that. And then, knowing, NFL terminology for defenses and offenses and stuff like that. So, it's a lot that goes into it. And quarterback is definitely a unique process than all the other ones because, obviously physically they just want to see how you move and throw the ball, but a lot of it is mental, how you handle yourself, stuff like that.
You always see if there's going to be any clips, it's going to be, the QB's on the board, right? They're getting on the board. Is that something you enjoy doing at this level, getting up and, drawing up some ball plays and going through that stuff?
Yeah. I've been doing that for a while now. And I still remember like my first time I was in like 8th grade and I visited my high school that I went to, and my head coach put me up on the board, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like stressing out. But yeah, you definitely get more comfortable with it as time goes on. And now I feel like, I'm in a good spot, and, I can break down, defenses and what I see, and I'm just able to like verbalize, that type of stuff.
Yeah. Coaches love that, right? They love having those shorthanded conversations with quarterbacks, right?
Yeah. And I know they try to kind of, they try to test you too.
Yeah.
See if you'll fold and, say something that you shouldn't. So, it's a little bit like walking on eggshells, but, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I think back to the Giants Hard Knocks this offseason when Dayball had all the guys up there, and I'm like, ooh, he really likes this Jaden Daniels. I hope the Giants. Oh, he's on their rival. That's no good.
Yeah.
Like the guy that clearly gets it is not on their team.
Yeah.
The chat is now all wants to play you in Madden next year. Devin wants to. He's going to pick whatever team. VP. Yeah. So you've just made the college video game.
Yeah.
They're planning ahead.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. You can. You've got people in your corner here already on that. All right. Last thing here as we wrap up this week. What's it going to take this week? I mean, it just feels like right. Like fast forward to the fourth quarter in a one possession game right now while we're at it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be another 4-quarter game. And I said it in the beginning of the year in one of our team meetings, and I told him, I was like, I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know what game it's going to be, but our season and a lot of the games are going to come down to one play, and you have to be able to step up and make that play. And I'm sure at some point in this week's game, it's going to be a big situation, game on the line. I don't know if the offense is going to be on the field or the defense is going to be on the field, and somebody's going to have to step up and make a play. And obviously Cal, they've been in every single game they've played, and I think it's going to be another good test for us. And so when that opportunity comes, whenever it is, I think we're just gonna have to step up and make the play.
All right. Well, Fran said yesterday there's been a 4th and 1, a 4th and 9. It's like maybe it'll be a 4th and 5. So we'll keep an eye out. We'll see if he's seen it to the future. All right. There's our guy Kyle McCord. Catch him noon Pacific Saturday. It's 3 here in the Q's for Syracuse and Cal. All of our normal coverage coming on Saturday. Of course, we'll detail as the week goes. We got a football, basketball doubleheader going on Saturday with hoops going at 1 in the Dome. And then Kyle will be back here next week, 11 o'clock on Tuesday, to get more of your questions then. So for Kyle, I'm Brian. Go Orange.